Hi guys, so today 𝗦𝗢𝗏 and I are going to go through the basics of Osoto Gari. So the major outer reaping throw, it's a very basic throw that every beginner gets taught, but I'm just going to go through it in a lot of detail so you know exactly what you're doing when you're at the training and you're at the club and you're learning Osoto Gari, and the coach might not be able to come over and help you out. It'll be a really good refresher of all the different principles and things you need to do in order to complete the throw. So let's just start with gripping, okay? So when you're at the club and you're gripping your opponent, it's important that you're both on the same page, okay? So what I recommend doing is when your instructor's teaching, you've got to look at how he's teaching. Is he teaching from a right-handed grip or from a left-handed grip? Is him and his opponent standing right on right, or is it left on right? And things like that. So you really got to know that before you can implement the technique. So the first things first is the basic Osoto Gari. What we're going to look at is gripping our opponent's collarbone, and we're going to be gripping the back of his elbow. And 𝗦𝗢𝗏, my partner, will be doing the same thing. Okay? What I want to do is my partner's going to start square. And I'm actually going to start off-center to my opponent. So I'm going to be starting here. I'm not going to be starting in front of him because it's quite hard to come out and around to throw him with Osoto Gari. The whole principle of Osoto Gari is what I'm looking at doing is pulling my opponent up and off balance and onto one foot. And I'm locked on with body contact. Once all his weight's on this one foot, if I can sweep that leg, obviously he's going to be thrown for rip-on or for a score. That's the whole idea of Osoto Gari. What I'm looking at doing is when I step forward, I'm stepping around about a foot away from my opponent's foot, and my foot is pointing the exact opposite way that his foot's pointing. That means that when my follow leg comes through, my hips are pointing the opposite way my opponent's are. My foot is pointing out this way, my sweep is going to be coming in an awkward direction, and I'm not going to get the full force of the technique. So I want to make sure that when I step forward, that I pull my opponent off balance, and my hips and foot are pointing the exact same way my opponent's foot's going, the opposite way, okay? So as I step forward with my arms, my left hand wants to pull my pinky up, and I want to make sure I lock my opponent to my body. And I pull him, and I know my opponent's off balance because his other foot comes up in the air a little bit. If I can do this, my opponent's not off balance. I must be getting pull, pull, getting him up and off balance. With my right hand, it's going to pull here. Okay, if you loosen up the gi a little bit, I'm going to pull there. So there's no space between me and my opponent. I'm locking my opponent to my body, and then I'm rotating. So as I step forward, my left hand is going to come up, and my right hand is going to come up here as well. Okay? Once I step forward, pull. The next part is, everyone, the seesaw. I want to keep my head up and back straight, and my head up, and my foot forward, my toes pointed, and actually turns a little bit. So when I step forward, step and pull, when the hips come through, my foot turns slightly. Notice I've got contact here, there's contact all the way through my chest, and the toes pointed. And now, when I bring my leg back, I'm going to hit him just at the back of the calf, with my calf, the meat of my calf, and then I'm going to bring my head down, and my leg's going to come up into the air. That's the whole idea. A lot of people lean the way they're trying to throw, and they're happy as they do this, and they've lost the power in the seesaw of the body. I want to have the head up, and my head comes down once I go through the follow-up movement. Okay, so with Osoto Gari, I'm gripping, one hand on the collarbone, or top grip. One hand at the back of the elbow, I'm stepping forward, pulling my opponent off balance at the same time. And it's really important to practice that. Practice that. Very important. Without 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗜𝗓, you're not going to throw. Once he's off balance, bring this leg through and finish the technique. And I'll do some throws now so you'll be able to see. So, pull. Pull, bring that leg through. Leg through. You notice you should be able to hear my foot hitting the mat. And that's what we're after. Step forward. Pull, leg through and throw. I make sure I put pressure on my opponent here. I'm supporting. My leg goes up and my head goes down. That's Osoto Gari. So I'll do it again, slightly different angle, stepping forward, pulling across. 2, 3, start getting the leg in there, and then throw. It's also important when you finish to stay in a position like this. If you can get good in this position, you're going to have very good judo, very good glutes and legs. A lot of people throw and then roll away, or throw and go straight like this. But you're not going to lose. So often in judo, when you're with your opponent, it's when you're stuck in this position. If you can get good at these positions and balanced and that, you'll go a long way. So with your Osoto Gari, make sure when you're doing it that you're pulling off balance sideways. Okay? As I step forward, I'm pulling up and off balance. Up and off balance. I'm not pulling down. I'm not pulling my opponent down. Up and off balance. Body contact, chest to chest. My right shoulder is hitting 𝗦𝗏𝗧𝗓𝗏's right shoulder. Okay? We're here. There. My foot's coming through. The toe's not up. It's pointed down. There's body contact all the way through our bodies. This arm's pulling. I then sweep, head down, leg up, and we're in a good position. Now, as a partner of Osoto Gari, it's important that you be a good partner in judo. If you're not a good partner, no one wants to train with you, and it's hard to get the rhythm of judo. So you notice that when I throw 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗓, as a partner, he gets a grip. Thank you. You're never going to fight someone in judo that doesn't get a grip. They're going to have a grip. So the first thing 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗓 does is he gets a grip. Second of all, he relaxes his arms. He's letting me come in and practice the technique. He's not stiff-arming me. He's also keeping his feet at a nice distance apart. And when I come in, he's helping me out a little bit by bringing that other foot in the air and off-balancing himself just a little bit. As a bad partner, sometimes they bring their feet together. And what happens is you find you might sweep and cork the back of their other leg. And that's going to hurt them a lot. And you feel bad because you've done something wrong, but really, he should have his feet a bit more separated and nice. You also notice that when I come in for the technique, 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗓 doesn't lean forward on me. So he leans nicely, he's keeping his body weight in a good position. A lot of people are going to lean forward, and you're like, oh, it's not working. Why isn't this throw working? And my opponent is leaning backwards in an awkward position for me. So as a partner, when someone's doing this technique on you, it's important to stay square, stay nice, and let them do the technique. Okay? Lastly, when I throw, a lot of people, when you go to throw the Osoto Gari, as I come in, they start turning their body this way and stepping off the technique, and it doesn't quite work out. So as a partner, you have to become comfortable with getting thrown with Osoto Gari and break falling. Don't turn off and make it awkward for your opponent. So when I come, they step off, and it doesn't work, and then what ends up happening is this. They step off, and it kind of doesn't quite work out, and there's something going wrong. So as a partner, you must just be a really nice partner. Stand there, get a grip, think about the principles of what you're doing, and that'll really help your Osoto Gari. Thanks for watching.